We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Lucy Korts. How's it going today?
Hey guys, I'm going great today. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm super excited, and I love your accent. So,
thank you. It's a weird mix of a lot of different things here in America because I grew up in Chicago, but I've lived in the South for almost 10 years now, so it's just kind of like this weird mix of a lot of different things. So,
do you like it better in the South?
I like the weather better.
Yeah, cool. I always wondered that. I've never been to America, so.
Yeah, the weather is definitely better because the winters are shorter. Like if you have winters at all. Whereas up in Chicago, it's like from October to maybe April or May, and it's just cold all the time. So.
Oh yeah, see, I like the heat, so I'd be where you are. Yeah.
Fair. So how's everything going? I know it's early for you, so I appreciate you jumping on early with us. And
yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, things are going great. I just released my newest single, which is Stronger. So I'm just excited to be here chatting about it. Yeah.
Nice. Stronger is an absolutely amazing song. So once we're done here, everybody go check it out. And, you know, I've had the opportunity to listen to it a few different times over the weekend when we first started talking about,
oh, cool.
You know, and just it just continues to grow on me. Like it hooked me the first time, and now it's just kind of worked its way into a few different playlists that I have. And so the fact
that makes me happy.
The fact that you're on multiple of my playlists, you're going to get played probably pretty consistently. So,
yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're about 10 days after the release of Stronger.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it? Like, how does it feel to have a new song out in the world?
I'm just so excited it's finally out. So this was a really long time in the making. I worked on this one for about 2 years. I had a few setbacks, and it's finally out in the world. So that's really all I care about, is that people can finally listen to it and stream it. And yeah, this is probably the best I've ever felt about releasing a track. This is my favorite piece of art that I've ever made. So yeah, I'm just feeling like super stoked that it's out and really happy.
Gotcha. And feel free to not answer this question, but what was kind of the setback?
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, like, so basically I started recording Stronger about 2 years ago, and I was lucky enough to win an award we have Brisbane City Council here in Brisbane where I am, and I was in a competition and I won best performance, and I decided to use that prize money to record my new single. And then I got really sick after winning, and I had to go through surgery and a whole bunch of stuff, and I just couldn't get it done. And it's just so cool that it's taken me so long, because I've just been, doing the health stuff, but I'm finally here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it really was a really wavy sort of journey, and I'm just so grateful that I've finally been able to release it, because I did go through a lot to be sitting here. So yeah.
Would you say you're stronger now than you were before?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it sounds cheesy, but that's what I hope people can take away from the song, to be honest, is that I really just do want it to make people feel a little bit stronger. And I feel like, everyone's going through something, or most people are going through something invisible and probably feel really unseen. So I want it to be there sort of like, yeah, I know that I'm strong inside. I'm going through that. And maybe like no one around me can really see it, but I know I'm strong. And that's what I want other people to feel when they listen to it. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that. I love the song, and I love the fact that you got it out and you were able to get it out, and you didn't let all this stuff kind of prevent you from putting this song out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sort of like, and it was really hard sometimes because I felt like I was progressing and then I just get like another setback, whether it was something medical or whatever. And then it was really hard because I did have to persevere. And every time I got hit, get back up again. But it's kind of cool in a way because that really is what the song's about, just getting back up. So in a
Mhm.
way, it's a little bit poetic, which is nice. But yeah, it was hard, but we're here and it's out. So yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I love it so much. So with Stronger out now, are you building towards a bigger release, or are you just kind of feeling like singles right now, or where are you kind of at there?
No, for sure. Like, I actually had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I believe this is my fourth single release in a row. And I'm really excited to say that I'm finally working towards an EP, so something like a more solid body of work, which is so exciting for me. And I feel like this new release, Stronger, it's a really good sound of how I think this EP is going to sound, a real like pop fullness, and I'm just really excited to finally be able to work towards, yeah, having an actual EP.
Mhm.
And it's going to be a 5-track EP. And there's a song that I actually played on the radio yesterday on a community station here called Electric Hearts. And that song's going to be featured on the EP. So I'm just really excited. Yeah.
Nice. Now, the recording from the radio station, or just like the song in general?
Just the song in general, yeah.
Okay,
No, there would
gotcha.
be a proper recording, yeah, but I sort of sneaky peekied it yesterday live on air, which was cool.
Nice. That's really cool. I like I there is something to be said about those like exclusive, like they're not perfectly sounding like demo tracks that kind of tend to get released, or that could be released as like hidden tracks on EPs or albums. I've always thought that that idea was really cool. So,
Oh, me too. I actually, that popped into my mind the other week, and I went back and I listened to when I sent my producer through Stronger after I'd written it. It was literally just voice memos on my iPhone. It was me, my acoustic guitar, and it's so cool. Also, just sitting back and being like, "Wow, we made that from just this like." Really simple voice recording, which is cool. And yeah, I love the idea of sort of like leaking that stuff onto SoundCloud for people because I used to, when I was growing up, some of my favorite artists like Gabrielle Aplin, they would always do that. They'd upload their little acoustic things to SoundCloud and you could sort of go there and listen, which was really lovely.
mm-hmm. I feel like SoundCloud is a very underrated platform that not a lot of people use. But I also
Yeah.
think a lot of people are deterred, like a lot of musicians are deterred from using it because it is like a pay to post type situation. Like you're allowed so much free space for free,
Yeah.
but after a certain point they start charging you, which I think a lot of independent artists aren't down with when you can literally post it up on YouTube for free.
Yeah, but I do agree with you that it's really underrated because I feel like the people that make up sort of the listeners and the fans on SoundCloud are fantastic. I
Mm-hmm.
find them to be super interactive, like, and they want to talk to you and things like that. So I 100% think SoundCloud is like a great platform and it's totally worth it. And every time I've uploaded something there, even with Stronger, I had a few new people reach out to me. So yeah, I love SoundCloud and I'm a massive fan. And growing up, that's what I used, and that's how I actually found a lot of artists that I love that I never would have found if I wasn't sort of just having a bit of a look see through SoundCloud. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. I feel that. Um, so kind of growing up in Australia, where does music kind of come into play? Was it something that was kind of always there, or is it something your parents introduced you to, or was it something you just kind of found out on your own?
No, so I was literally studying graphic design and I wanted to work on video games. And I went to lunch with a friend one day and we went to this little Italian restaurant and there was a chalkboard up on the wall. It said open mic. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, well, you go and you sing. He's like, you should do it because I've heard you sing and I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, okay. And he came with me because I was like super nervous. I tried it out. I loved it and it was really lovely because I got so much support and I felt like I wanted to come back and I felt really loved and seen. And then I just sort of never stopped. And then I started writing more music and then I started recording it and then I started releasing it. And I just never wanted to stop because I sort of found my thing and I ended up moving. That was in Toowoomba
Hmm.
and I moved to Brisbane for more opportunity. And it's just sort of got, like better and better.
Nice.
And it's cool because it kind of is by coincidence. I never thought I would be singing. So yeah,
Nice. Do you remember the that first song you sang at that open mic?
I do. It was Skinny Love by Birdie. Well, I should say Bon Iver. It's a Bon Iver song. It's covered by Birdie. But yeah, that was the first ever song I sung, and I just got a really lovely response.
Nice, nice, nice. And was the goal that was like once you started singing, was the goal to kind of get to Brisbane, or was it just like, oh, hey, I think I've kind of tapped out my resources here. Where can I go from here in your
Well, when I
hometown?
was in Toowoomba, I think, I started getting opportunities there until, I sort of started to get people reaching out to me from Brisbane till it got to a point where I was like, driving to Brisbane every other week, because I was getting all these cool shows and things like that. So that's what made me make the jump is that it sort of just naturally transitioned itself, which was cool.
Mm. Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice. And how long have you been in Brisbane now at this point?
I think I've been in Brisbane for about 5 years, 6 years now. It's been a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you moved there just in time for the pandemic,
Yeah, exactly. Peak time.
right? Right, right.
Yeah.
How's the scene in Brisbane been since the pandemic?
A little sad to be completely honest. Like a lot has changed. I was actually before the pandemic, I worked full time as a cover artist in
Hmm.
between doing my original thing. And since the pandemic, that's changed a lot.
Mm.
And even after the pandemic, things didn't just pop back into place. It was really, really slow. So that scene's just a completely different world now. And even with the original music scene here in Australia, we've sort of just slowly since, the pandemic lost all of our festivals, which have just been cancelled and cancelled. So yeah, everything's definitely taken more of, I think, a digital shift
Mm-hmm.
because of all the stuff, we've been through.
Yeah, it's a, I was going to say, I feel like Australia got hit really hard
Yeah.
during the like, I mean, everybody got hit hard. Like, let's be honest, but I feel like Australia, because you're kind of out an island on its own, and I guess it's not hard to get to Australia. It's just like I know for me, it's like a long trip. Like you have to mentally prepare
Yeah.
to take that trip to get to Australia, because I think you're looking at like 18 hours in an airplane or something.
Yeah, and we had the lockdown laws were a lot stricter down south. So it's in Australia where I am, we sort of had everybody from down here say,
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, I've had enough and move up here. So I also wonder, how many people in that group are musicians and artists and how that's affected the scene up
Mm-hmm.
here. So yeah.
Fair, fair, fair. It's a, and then it doesn't help because when venues are closing, and I heard, or I think at the time I had heard there was also some insurance stuff that was going on with the venues as well, or was that
Yeah,
just?
I've heard a lot of things. Like even in, Toowoomba, we had a really fantastic venue down there that shut down
Hmm.
after COVID, and they were, I would arguably say, they were one of the best supporters of original live music, and they hosted a lot of sort of medium international acts that were coming through that wanted to do more rural stuff.
Hmm.
And, here in Brisbane, yeah, we've had venues shut down because they were just managing to, get by. And then they were starting to get noise complaints or insurance prices were starting to skyrocket. We've like just sort of like lost venue after venue as well. So yeah, it's been really tough here in Brizzy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I I have the aspirations of coming to Australia. It's been on the actually I've wanted to come to
Mhm.
Australia since I was in second grade
Why?
because my teacher at the time, she spent her spring break in Australia. I think she went to like Sydney or something,
Yeah.
and she came back with these little koala pinchy
Oh,
things that you would put on like a pencil, so it'd be like a little decorative thing for your pencil, and
yeah.
yeah. Um, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and ever since then I've always wanted to go to Australia. So
Koalas are cool. You can go like up here we have Australia Zoo and you can pay to go like hold the koala and hug it and stuff. But if you've ever seen them when they're angry, like they're absolutely terrifying. So
oh
it's
yeah.
like very like light switch with the koala bears. But yeah.
Right. I don't know if I'd go there to hug a koala bear because, like you said, I've seen some videos where
Yeah.
they're not always game for that. So,
No.
but no, ever since I was in like second grade, I've always wanted to make that trip. So,
Everyone says the same thing about because I understand that America and Australia have very different ideas of what a possum is, and
mhm.
everyone looks at the Australian one and goes, "Oh, that's so cute." I personally, as a possum survivor, I'm joking, but like who's experienced an angry possum, they're not cute in Australia, not when they're angry.
I have to see what an Australian possum looks like because the possums.
Deceivingly cute.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Common bushtail possum. Yeah, I can see why people would think they're cute, but they don't look. They look just as scary as a regular, or as a possum here in America. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's like, yeah, I'd stay away from you. Don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere near that. Like, we used to go possum stomping when we would be in college because we'd always have possums going around our not our dorm, but we rented a house once we got out
Yeah.
of our first year of school, and we'd always have possums walking around, and it's like, oh nope, we got to take care of this because
Yeah. I
you
think
step.
too, like a lot of Americans think that the kangaroos here are really cute, and don't get me wrong, like a lot of them are adorable. But you know, like I went camping up at Darlington like 2 years ago when you have like a fully grown, like
Mhm.
testosterone vibes, like male
Yeah.
kangaroo guarding like the toilet block. It's absolutely terrifying, and they make this like deep grunting
Mhm.
sound. Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, in America, they go to the zoo and they see these the female kangaroos that are probably
Yeah.
older than old can be, and they're just like hopping around because they've got nothing else to do, and they look cute and adorable. But then you go on like YouTube and you type in kangaroo, and you see a male
Yeah.
kangaroo trying to kill a dog, and it's like, no, like, yeah, those
Yeah.
look cool, but meet a real kangaroo in the wild, they will destroy you.
Yeah, no, we have steroid kangaroos here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I'm good. I'm 100% good.
Yeah, far away from me.
Yeah. We had actually funny story about that. So here where I live in Texas, um I work for a TV station, and we do like commercials and stuff like that. We had an exotic zoo, or it was like an exotic zoo or a safari drive-through thing, and they had kangaroos there, and they bought this package where we had to do like a 60-second like feature on each different type of animals because that's what made them different. And they had kangaroos there, and we were doing a thing about the new baby kangaroo that was just born. And one of the girls on our team was shooting some B-roll video, and one of the kangaroos kicked her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just came up and kicked her because she was in her way. And I'm like, I mean, y'all were the
Yeah, and
ones
they
who,
kick hard.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
y'all were the ones just kind of walking around like they weren't going to do nothing. I'm like, no, these animals are territorial. Get out of your way.
Yeah. They're all just very deceivingly adorable.
I think that's fairly accurate. And then the one thing that's always scared me about Australia, but I've had enough people on that told me that it's really not that big of a deal, like in the main cities, are
Yeah.
the spiders.
Oh yeah, we have huge spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get like what's it called? So we get a lot of tarantulas and
Hmm.
things like oh what's the one that huntsman? That's what I'm
Mm.
trying to think
Yeah.
of. Wait, sorry, we always get huntsmans everywhere. Like I literally killed one about a week and a half ago, and they're massive and
Yeah,
terrifying. Yeah, they're gross. But
yeah,
lots of huntsmans.
yeah.
The one thing I'm jealous of in America is that you guys get bears, which again, deceivingly cute, but yeah, absolutely my favorite animal. So
Fair, fair, fair. Actually, it
yeah.
depends on what kind of bear it is. A polar bear, stay away. Those things will
Oh
destroy
yeah, they're
you.
terrifying. Yeah.
But
Oh, what did I see recently? A sloth bear. This thing came up on my TikTok. There's a bear, there's a type of bear, I believe it's in America, and it's called a sloth bear, and it looks like it's from like, a horror movie. What's that?
hmm, now I'm confused. Like, I mean, I know what
Yeah,
a sloth is, but let's see what a sloth.
maybe it's like fake. It's like a fake TikTok theory. I don't know, but it was
No, okay,
terrifying.
let's see. Sloth bear. Oh, that looks adorable. They are also known as Indian bears, so I'm guessing they're from India.
Right.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I learn something new every day, I guess, right? So, um, so how much of your music do you dedicate to writing about animals and the indigenous animals of Australia?
Yeah, I think I'm really ashamed, guys, to say absolutely 0% of my
Fair,
music is dedicated to that.
fair, fair, fair. I had to ask because we just went on a whole tangent, so I was like, "Yeah, let's figure a way to tie it in." But we're
Yeah,
good,
maybe I'll start like
right? Just start a whole thing. So,
yeah.
um, so you'd mentioned that you're working on a 5 song EP, starting with Stronger, or will it feature some of your other stuff as well?
No, so the EP won't have Stronger on it. It is a single release, but I'm it's gonna have some stuff that
Mhm.
I've shared previously, like Electric Hearts, and it's gonna have some songs featured that I have never shared before. So I'm so excited for that. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice, honestly, just to have a solid body of work. It'll be like my first sort of thing. And growing up, I always listen to albums and I really love the art of listening to the songs in order and the story it tells. So that's
Mhm.
always been something I've really wanted to do.
For sure. So, given that little bit of information, will you be working on releasing like a vinyl or like a physical media?
Yeah, definitely. When I actually started out in music, I didn't create pop music. I created folk music, and
Mhm.
I had a 4-track EP that's no longer available, and it was called All My Love. And I ended up printing off, I think, like 200 of these really thick sort of GSM paper templates I'd made, and I spent all these nights making up the physical albums, and I sold them at my first ever show.
Nice.
But it would be cool, yeah, to for this EP. I'm gonna actually have some proper physical prints because that's really important to me. I like the art of just having the thing and collecting the CDs. Yeah.
I get it. So, to kind of piggyback off of what you just mentioned, why did you decide to make that switch from folk music to pop music?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't on purpose. I just sort of fell in love with pop music, and I think that some of my other favorite artists, like Maggie Rogers, they're what made me fall in love with pop music because I'd always seen pop music as this big, oversaturated production thing, and
Mhm.
artists like that made me realize that I was wrong. And I'm like, oh no, that's not what pop music is. Like, you can have these, really raw, sort of organic vocals, but you can still have fit inside this genre of, making people move and dance and having this type of beat and feeling. And you can still mash that with the vocals that I wanted to do. And so, yeah. Maggie Rogers was a really pivotal artist in my journey because she made me realize I could make music how I wanted to make it. And that's what led me to, like my first pop release, which was Not Your Type in 2020. Yeah.
Nice, nice. That's really cool. That's so basically Maggie Rogers kind of helped transform you to find what you felt was authentically you.
Yeah, exactly. She did. I think her and Gabrielle Aplin, I bring them up all the time because of what I just said about Maggie and Gabrielle, because she's definitely an artist that she is a pop artist, but she's not afraid to release a body of work and then release something that fits sort of into a different subgenre or be different and just create different art, and she doesn't feel the need to comply constantly to an aesthetic and, comply to a color or a look or, an Instagram feed. She just makes this art and she serves the art. And I always really admired that. And so, yeah, biggest inspiration.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And so just kind of looking forward, how often are you playing shows right now? Do you play pretty consistently or is it a little bit fewer and far between?
Yeah, so like, I mean, since COVID, I don't work doing cover gigs anymore, so it's
Hmm.
all my original stuff. So at the moment, I play my original shows typically once a month or once every 2 months. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And will you tour or go outside of Brisbane? Will you go to like Sydney or Melbourne or like I mean I know that's kind of all I know it's hard to hit the big cities because they're like all what like within
No,
takes like
well, I might have like something to do with rhymes with Spidney lined up potentially in the next couple of months. So yeah.
okay fair because we were talking a little bit ago about me wanting to come to Australia and I feel like it's one of those deals where I'd have to go to like at least all the main cities on the eastern side of Australia,
Oh
not
yeah.
name, not that's are not Perth, because I feel like
Yeah.
Perth is like a whole that's a whole separate trip you got to make.
Yeah, don't
Um,
go to Perth. So I love you all from Perth, but I mean, if you're coming all that way, yeah, just stick to, yeah.
yeah, because it's like Brisbane, Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne, but even that's like a whole lot of traveling within and of itself. So
Yeah, exactly.
so
That's a lot to cover, just those. And
yeah.
make sure you go to, yeah, you want to go to New South Wales, go to Byron, all those places because
Mhm.
they're super beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. I was planning a road trip once, like, because we do this live podcast thing. And I was like, I'd love to take this to Australia. I bet we could spend like 10 days in Australia and go up and down the coast and just like visit all the really cool cities and venues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I just started realizing like, it's a lot of traveling, but it's really no different than the US because to get from state to state, like in Texas, I live pretty much smack dab in the middle. And to
Right.
get out of the state, you're traveling minimum 5 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that why in America, like I often hear so many people just fly
Hmm.
interstate because I didn't realize that. So it actually takes 5 hours just to sort of reach the outside there.
Yes. Well,
Wow.
Texas is a very big state. Um, to be fair, there are states where you could be in the center and it would take you 20 minutes. Like we have small, like there's
Right.
small states and stuff like that. But Texas in general, it's a very big state and it takes a while. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So but it's a cool place. Like anybody that's coming to America, I always tell them, come to Texas. Like it's an experience and it's a good experience. It's not like I feel like Texas has got this old stigma of being racist and like standoffish and like no outsiders, that sort of thing. And it's like, no, as long as you're a good person and you're not like arrogant or mean or anything like that, you're going to get
Yeah.
along with about 98% of the people in this state.
I've always wanted to go there because I am a massive country music fan. One of my favorite artists is Ashley Cook. I don't know if
Mhm.
she's originally from there, but she recently played a show there. And I want to do a trip where I come to where you are and I just go on a massive country music rampage and see all my favorite artists.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley Cook is actually from Florida.
But she's from
She,
Florida.
yeah, she's from Florida. But I want to say she lives in Nashville now.
Yeah,
I
okay,
feel
that
like
sounds
that's the
right.
move. Yeah, I feel like that's the move. But um, no, so my parents, after I left Chicago, they moved to Florida, and she's actually from about 20 minutes from where they live. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of hers. I know every song verbatim. So,
nice.
yeah.
Nice. I got I got into her a bit. I was playing around with this idea of starting a vlog series of every time we go on the road, just kind of doing a vlog series. And she had done something similar. So I was kind of watching her vlogs to see how she did it, just to kind of get some ideas. And then obviously her music was playing throughout the things. And I started listening to it. I was like, oh, some of this is actually like really good. And so I started listening and started following and all that stuff. So yeah, Ashley Cook is amazing. So
Yeah, she does. She's got a collab with Brett Young. I think it's called Never Till Now.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful song. That's how I found her. I remember because I'm a big Brett Young fan, and that
Mm-hmm.
popped up on my feed when she did that collab. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, another artist that you need to look into. She's goes out on the road with Keith Urban. Uh, it's Keith Urban. Um,
Yeah.
Maggie Baugh.
Oh, I've heard of her. I don't think I've heard her music, but I've
Yeah,
definitely actually heard yeah, I've definitely heard her name come up.
yeah. She will play fiddle with Keith Urban a lot, but her original music is fantastic. So
Yeah.
not to throw more music at you, but it's
No, like please.
sorry. So who are you listening to? Who are you listening to right now that you really enjoy?
There's actually we have an artist here, I believe she's Melbourne based. I believe her name's Elliot, and she's my favorite Australian artist at the moment. Vocals, songs, melodically, lyrically, just absolutely insane. I love Cap Carter. He's a Sydney artist, more like singer-songwriter pop, also just like makes your heart like break in the best way and just really talented dude. I love Juno. Juno's a really cool pop band from where I am in Brizzy, and their again songwriting's just like insane. So they're sort of like my top three at the moment, and we have so many other incredible like acts. Like Hazel May's a really cool
Mm,
act in Brizzy. She's like pop jazz, and she's just
yeah,
super cool. She belongs in New York, I think. She's just amazing. But yeah,
nice.
so we've got heaps of cool stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I've see. I'm trying to work my way back into Australia, like because I think 2026 is realistically when I would be able to start doing like my bigger trips that I want to do,
Yeah,
especially
cool.
over to like Australia. I'm trying to get back in because I feel like a lot of the musicians that I hung out or that I was getting in tight with during the pandemic, none of them really perform anymore.
Right. Okay, that's really sad to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if they are performing, they're just not like posting about it as much because, it's just one of those things where some of them were in bands, and we all know when you're in a band, sometimes bands break up. So it
Yeah,
happens.
exactly. And so many people's living financial situations would have changed with COVID, and I feel like that broke a lot of bands up too. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's been really rough. I've always performed solo, just myself on acoustic guitar. So I think given the circumstances, maybe I've been a little bit lucky in that way. But yeah.
But that's the way to do it, especially right now when you're really trying to cut your teeth and get your get your career going. Doing it solo acoustic is a real way to do it because let's
Yep.
say let's say in 6 months you're to be like, you know what? I'm gonna just go on a 3 week tour around Australia and just play every show, every bar, every venue I can
Exactly.
play. Guess what? It's up to you. You do it. You don't have to worry about no one else.
I 100% agree. Like, you're not restricted in any way. Like, I can control my opportunity. And whereas I've actually had people in bands like that I know that have had to turn down shows because they're like, oh, I couldn't do this because my drummer or like my guitarist, they can do it. So like, I can't play. I can't play now. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be in that situation because like I want to perform. So that's the one thing that I love about being solo is that yeah, I'm in charge of my opportunity and I can jump up on stage and still share my art with people. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, I'd say definitely take advantage of that, especially, now it feels like you're kind of back in full swing of your music. Um, How does it feel to kind of have, like, it feels like you put a lot of the setbacks that you had behind you, and now you're
Yeah.
just looking forward to music and having fun. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really great because that I couldn't sing for a really long time because I was so unwell. And it's a weird feeling, sort of even, right here today, having that realization like, oh my God, like I can sing again. Like I'm better now. It makes me feel really emotional and it's really cool because yeah, I was really unwell for a while and I couldn't, and having that freedom and knowing that I can even just, pick up my guitar and go busk is just the best feeling ever, that I can take the show now and I can sing again. So yeah, it means like everything to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I'm glad you are healthy and feeling better and everything is going in the right direction. Having had a chance to really kind of dive in on your music over the weekend, you are really talented, and I just love the fact that you're back out grinding away.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah. So kind of outside of music, what do you like to get into? What do you like to do to kind of decompress and all that fun stuff?
I think like my biggest love outside of music is martial arts. I'm super into jujitsu. So
Yes.
I originally started out martial arts like doing kung fu, and then I moved to Brizzy. So I picked up Brazilian jiu-jitsu instead, and I've done that for like a couple years on and off because been unwell. But yeah, so that's sort of like my thing. That and the typical, like I love spending time in nature, but martial arts is my true love. So yeah.
Nice. Do you think there's a future in martial arts, or is it just something you like to do to kind of get away?
It's definitely just something that's really important to me that I like to do to get away. It's the way, for me, it's just a really good coping mechanism for life, and you sort of just get everything out of you when you're there rolling and sparring, and it feels really empowering, like, to be honest, just to know that like I can take care of myself and I've got something behind me in terms of like defense, which I want to like give a shout out to that fact because I think that's really cool for women, and I encourage like anyone listening to like give it a go because it'll make you feel good about yourself and you'll be like, yeah,
Yeah,
cool, I can do that.
nice. Nice. And when you get out on the road, at least you know you can defend yourself a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really important in the music industry either, because it's a bit of a unique industry like that, especially when you're like an artist starting out of nowhere and you don't really know what you're doing and you're going into all these venues. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, and so how long had you been doing martial arts? Just kind of, was that something that you were doing as a kid and got into it, or was it a little bit older when you started getting into it?
No, it was when I was a little bit older. Like I think that in total I've probably been doing it for about 8, 9 years
Hmm.
at this point. But yeah, definitely sort of as an older teenager, it's something that I got into. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's really cool. And so looking forward, um, if anybody wants to listen to your new single, it's in the description below. You can go listen to it here in just a few moments, I promise. But do you have any major shows you'd like to announce or that you'd like
I'll
to
be
push?
announcing a single launch really soon. So please follow me along. If you're listening to this and you don't follow me, you can follow me on whatever your thing is. It doesn't matter, and I'll find a way to tell you about it. And I'll post. And then if you're here, you can come let me sing to you, which I would love
Yeah,
to celebrate Stronger. So yeah, I mean. And just, yeah, thank you so much for everyone that's tuned in and like taking the time to listen. I love talking to you guys. And yeah, I'm really grateful that you're giving my song a listen. So thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And what's your social handles?
It is Lucy Korts Music for Instagram and Lucy Korts on pretty much everything else.
Awesome, awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. I love chatting with you. We'll have to do it again for the next single or
Heck
find a
yeah.
time to do it. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.